I have two questions for you. First of all, did you know that there was a chance that we could have had a Yu-Gi-Oh anime literally called Yu-Gi-Oh Everything? Second of all, have you ever wondered how an original anime gets made? Or at least have you ever wondered how some stuff like logos, design, etc. are being made or chosen? Because a user by the name of Atiki1960 over on Twitter has worked on Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXAL, logo and also some other detail related stuff. He had posted some of the things he's worked on ZEXAL, which I will discuss in this video. And also, this man is not right in the head, because this is what he can do with a mouse. Anyways, crack a bottle of Fiji water, grab your favorite snack and let's begin. We're starting things off with the name suggestions for the 4th Yu-Gi-Oh anime, before the subname ZEXAL was chosen. And I'm kinda happy to see this because look at these names. Yu-Gi-Oh! Diat, Yu-Gi-Oh! X, Yu-Gi-Oh! Fourth Force, Yu-Gi-Oh! Ambitious, Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega, wait a minute, Yu-Gi-Oh! Beta, Yu-Gi-Oh! Lightning, Yu-Gi-Oh! XYZ, Yu-Gi-Oh! Hexes, Yu-Gi-Oh! Nex, Yu-Gi-Oh! Shex. They forgot to add Yu-Gi-Oh! 6, Yu-Gi-Oh! Binary Start, Yu-Gi-Oh! How do you read this? Yu-Gi-Oh! Now that I think about it, those might be for overlay units. We then get a few extra stuff like an entire new language specifically made for an anime about card games and specifically made for not even the cards themselves. Then Konami went and told the man to make the language more simplistic for them kids. Despite that, I have no idea what these shapes on screen are supposed to represent. The first version is a combination of circle and lines brought together to make these things that remind me of the Nazca lines from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds more than anything else. The second batch are some shapes that you use for your cookies probably. The first shape represents a monster that nobody wants to talk about. The second shape looks like a rocket. The third looks like the 7th dual disc. The 5th is a 5-pointed star. The 7th is a 6-pointed star. The 8th looks like a 7. The 9 looks like the 3rd and 8 but slightly off edge. The 10th looks like a 3. So yeah, very cool, very nice. Moving on to the main topic of the video. We're starting things off with a few logos before the big money people decided onto an actual name for this anime. The first logo, while being very simplistic, doesn't have anything interesting standing out to it. The word Yu-Gi-Oh! Takes most of the space of the logo. Then there's this trident thing in the back. The words psychic ability are made in a font that probably anyone has access to on their computer, and it's small as well as in black color, so the next logo is more interesting, but it still has the remember that it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Problem. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Kanji is part of the original DM logo, and once again the word slash is almost out of the frame. And with its black color, it doesn't really have any impact on the logo. But I would say that I like Human Astro being used in the logo. If I were to look at this logo from far away, it would still be able to grab my attention. There was also a chance that we could have had Yu-Gi-Oh! Peace instead of Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXAL, which would have been, I don't know, cringe. For the first logo, I would say it's really bland, but at least all the characters can stand out on their own. I don't really like the second one, as the font for the word peace feels inconsistent, the P and C in particular. We get a logo for Yu-Gi-Oh! Soulgate, which also looks really bland, and I really don't think that the gradient for the acronym of Soulgate stands out really well. Well, the next logo is for Yu-Gi-Oh! Alpha to Omega, which I believe means everything. The logo is quite simplistic, but it's quite funny that we could have potentially had an anime called Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything before Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything the YouTube channel ever existed. Next up is gladly another title that didn't make it. Yu-Gi-Oh! 2 Slides literally seems like a downgrade of Swash. In every aspect. We have two logos that are centered around Yuma's key, which is cool I guess, and also what's cool is that the keys don't drag the entire attention to themselves. Overall really cool logos. The next logo uses the red Yu-Gi-Oh! Kanji once again, and also the text below that says Buster in English has a font that's not really consistent with the Yu-Gi-Oh! font. And there's a lot of red, yellow and orange, so it's kinda hard to focus on anything really. We finally get to quite a few last logos, which are all about ZEXAL, finally. The first one is quite good, everything is in its own little color capsule. And I like that the dragon in the middle is surrounded by two contrasting color overlay rings. Despite my positives and likings to the logo, it wouldn't probably be able to stand out, with its main colors as black and dark blue. The next logo keeps the theme of the last one. This time around, the dragon in the middle is replaced with whatever this cross thing is. I guess it's an X to make the logo more spicy. And this time around we have red as the center color, not just a complementary one, surrounded by yellow rings, but once again it feels more simplistic. And the colors of black and dark blue are still part of it. This is another logo that follows a similar shape to the last two. This time around the main color is red, and then we have this combination of inverted mask with the X as well as a circle in the middle. Both share the same dark blue color. It would have been kinda awkward with that inverted mask for the X if the logo was used as a transparent one, so this is a no-go. The next logo is the italic brother of the last three. This time around it includes the three primary colors, aka RGB, but none of them really stand out, except green of course, and overall the theme of simplicity is still at the core. The next logo on the list is finally something fresh, with its main line of colors being yellow, orange and red. Once again, having so much of a logo with a desaturated colors is probably not the greatest idea, but it's cool to see a logo that's not too simplistic. The next logo uses parts of the last one for the most part. The only thing that is different is in the middle, which has what I think a planet surrounded by two rings which have two orbs going around them, which are supposed to represent an Xyz monster and its overlay units. This logo is once again not simplistic, but it has many elements that I don't like. The font for ZEXAL is too bold. The primary colors here are blue and yellow. The X in the middle doesn't fit very well. There are a lot of wires in the X for some reason. We once again have gray in the logo, and yeah, overall the logo is not that bad, but it's definitely not there yet. The next logo has more playful, childish nature to it, which I can't put my finger on it if I like it or not. It's definitely something way different, with the word ZEXAL being wrapped in molecules being connected to make up a letter. I also like that there were so many colors being used here, but different elements are still able to stand out on their own. So yeah, it's quite nice looking. This one has both text for the word ZEXAL. It's able to have the Emperor's key included in it without being too much of a distraction, and the X this time around fits perfectly, and also the colors work very well together. That might also be because the color black is only used for a stroke this time around. This logo is definitely experimental. It feels like something from the 70s or 80s, but something that doesn't resemble anime at all, with a circle in the frame being a picture of something somewhere in Tokyo probably, with 2 or 3 filters swap onto it. And we once again have gray as part of the primary colors in here, which is not a good thing. I also include this into the same category as not really fitting with the topic and the audience, and I'm not really a big fan of the 3D-like vision, as well as the logo feeling pseudo-realistic despite having to be used for an anime. The final 3 finally start to resemble the ZEXAL logo we all know today. I definitely didn't like the font used for ZEXAL on the first two. The coloring on the first one, aka using a ton of gradient, made the whole logo not being able to stand out properly. The second logo, despite ditching off that idea and thus being better to look at, feels less appealing. It's the font. It's the X that feels like it's not properly stretched, and it's the fact that it has these green things in it. Why? The third logo still has its issues, with not being able to stand out enough, thanks to its main color being blue, but despite that I think everything falls into place perfectly. There's no such a thing as different parts of the logo not falling into place, or the fonts looking too aggressive. It's definitely the best one out of the 24 logos in total. I just wanna say that I probably sounded really pretentious, but I don't think in any way, shape or form that Mr. Iki did poorly with any of the logos. I'm trying to be realistic in terms of marketing, yet I think that he is quite a talented individual. Mr. Iki wasn't the person to make the final version of the logo, but his work was essential to the final product. All I can say is that I'm thankful to Mr. Iki for being part of that project at that time. And yeah, that is going to do it with the video. Bye bye, Plebs wasn't here.